think of the magic of Disney, the first thing that might come to mind is the iconic Mickey Mouse, who started it all, or the happiest place on earth, which is Disneyland, or some modern favorites like Frozen. But there's a lot of aspects of Disney that often get overlooked or forgotten, especially after decades of quite the legacy. There's one movie in particular that not only shaped my childhood, it also influenced my love of Disney as well as movies in general. This movie, of course, is Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, released in 1937. And even after 88 years, this animated movie still stands as one of the greatest jewels in animated history, as well as film history in that regard. This movie holds a special place in my heart for many reasons. It's honestly one of the first movies I recall watching on VHS. I fondly yet frighteningly remember times writing Snow White's Scary Adventures, now known as Snow White's Enchanted Wish, which honestly should make a video about on my other channel. And with the live-action reimagining releasing just in a few weeks, I felt like it was my honor and privilege to make an animated feature review of the movie that truly started it all. So without further ado, let's whistle while we work, avoid those poison apples, and talk about Walt Disney's Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs is an animated film rich in history. Not only is it the first ever full-length animated feature, but it also marks Disney's inaugural theatrical release, premiering on December 21st, 1937 at the Cathay Circle Theater in Los Angeles. This groundbreaking movie showcased Walt Disney's innovative vision and set the stage for future animated classics like Pinocchio, Cinderella, Peter Pan, and so forth. Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs wasn't just a hit in 1937. It became a box office phenomenon for decades. Disney released the film in theaters multiple times after, starting in 1944 to raise money for World War II. And each theatrical release included those in 1952, 1958, 1967, 1975, 1983, and 1993. This was a great opportunity to introduce this beloved classic and keep the magic alive for years to come. Then, in 1994, Snow White made history again when it became the first ever Disney animated film released on home video as part of the Masterpiece Collection on VHS. It sold over 25 million copies in its first release, becoming one of the best-selling VHS tapes of all time. Its success on home video ensured that the film would continue to be a household favorite, allowing audiences to experience the magic whenever they wanted. Even today, whether through its subsequent Blu-ray releases or streaming on Disney+, Snow White continues to be a timeless classic that generations keep coming back to. The film's success paved the way for numerous theme park attractions that continue to enchant visitors worldwide. From classics like Snow White's Enchanted Wish to the charming Seven Dwarfs Mine Train roller coaster at Walt Disney World, fans can immerse themselves in Snow White's magical world. The story's influence reached television as well, notably inspiring characters of Snow White in the popular series Once Upon a Time. This show reimagined classic fairy tales, bringing beloved characters into contemporary storylines and captivating new generations of viewers. Now as we look forward to the live-action reimagining of Snow White, which releases on March 21st, 2025, excitement and anticipation are in the air, starring Rachel Zegler as Snow White and Gal Gadot as the Evil Queen. This adaptation promises to honor the original while introducing fresh elements for today's audience, which I am anxiously anticipating. Snow White's enduring legacy continues to inspire and enchant, proving that this classic tale remains relevant and beloved as ever. Now I'll turn my camera on and jump into my review of Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. December 21st, 1937, Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs was seen by the public in a glittering premiere at the Carthay Circle Theater in Los Angeles. When the movie ended, the audience stood and cheered. Oh, hi. Sorry. I didn't know it was my turn to talk. Well, I hope you enjoyed what you've seen so far in this animated feature review. I'm Colton Johnson, of course, with Empty Popcorn Bucket Productions. And now, here's my review for Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. So, like mentioned previously, my love of this movie is so far-reaching, and the impact that it has on my life and the life of so many others is significant. One of the greatest things of this movie that just still shocks me today is, for being as old as it is, the animation style still holds up pretty well. And over the years, they've touched up the film here and there. And recently, in the last several years, they've made a 4K version of the movie. This movie is such a timeless tale where we have the classic princess Rags, and she gets sent into the woods because she's almost killed, meets the Seven Dwarfs, and to really think about it, it's a simple movie, and there's a lot of heart that's there. I love the Seven Dwarfs. Personally, I align with Sneezy. Some days I'm grumpy, some days I'm sleepy, some days I'm happy. I mean, I'm happy pretty much all the time. But I think it's so fun to have the Seven Dwarves, and just seeing those different characters displayed the way they are, with emotion and so much heart as well. I also love the music of this movie. I think has some of the greatest song lineups, especially for being the first ever Disney movie. Obviously has movie or songs within the movie that still hold up to this day, like Whistle While You Work, Someday My Prince Will Come, and my personal favorite is One Song. I think that one's my favorite. I think it's powerful, and it's not really that big into the movie, but it will be sad that it most likely won't be in the live action remake, which it's fine, I'll get over it later. Another fantastic thing about this movie is just the legacy that has came after it for being the first feature-length animated film, as well as paving the way for so many Disney classics. This was considered Disney's folly, and then, like I read in Walt Disney, an American Original, the crowds cheered. They were excited. This was a success, and it really paved the way for some of my other favorite Disney movies like Peter Pan, Aladdin, Lion King, Frozen, Moana, so many other fantastic movies, and it wouldn't have been possible without the success of Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. I love this movie. I find it very hard for me in a way to find flaw, because I see it for as it is. And for me, it's near perfect, but for you, it might not be. But I look at it in a historical standpoint, a film standpoint, an animated standpoint, and a Disney lover standpoint. And that's why this movie has so much heart to it. And I just absolutely love it with everything that I stand for. It's just phenomenal. So this movie, in my opinion, gets a 5 out of 5 or 10 out of 10. And I know a while back I made my top 10 favorite movies of all time. This movie probably sits at like 11 or 12. So it's pretty up there when it comes to some of my favorite movies of all time. And if you're interested, maybe I'll do my top 10 animated films of all time, because animation is a beautiful art style There's so many varieties, from stop motion to hand animated to 3D animated. There's just so many different types that I feel like all of it deserves recognition. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. This video is actually supposed to release next week, but due to scheduling things and movies that I'm planning to see, I decided to make it this week. So thank you. Please like, subscribe, and share this video. And then stay tuned for next week, which I will be doing a movie review. And then the following week, I will be doing my review for Snow White, which I wanted to dive in a little bit on my thoughts and feelings. But if you go back and check out my live action remake ranked video that I made back in December, I talk a little bit about my thoughts and feelings towards that. And I'm becoming a little more optimistic as time goes on. So stay tuned for that review and go watch that other video. I appreciate everything that I do. I mean, I love making videos. I like putting it together. I like telling you my thoughts and feelings. So thank you. Have a wonderful day. Bye.